Hey guys, this is Matt with BleepinJeep.com. Today I'm going to show you about this. It's a CPS sensor, crankshaft position sensor. It's very important. Without it, your Jeep won't go anywhere. And so I'm going to show you how to test, diagnose, and replace it. But first, check out my website, BleepinJeep.com. It's got all the best off-road videos on YouTube. And subscribe to my YouTube channel right here, BleepinJeep. Alright, so the first thing you'll want to know about the crankshaft position sensor is how it works. And it's pretty complicated, but let me read you this off of Wikipedia. A CPS is an electronic device used in an internal combustion engine to monitor the position or rotational speed of the crankshaft. This information is used by the engine management system to control ignition system timing and other engine parameters. Before electronic crank sensors were available, the distributor would have to be manually adjusted to a timing mark on the engine. The crank sensor can be used in combination with a similar camshaft position sensor to monitor the relationship between the pistons and valves in the engine, which is particularly important in engines with variable valve timing. This method is also used to synchronize a four-stroke engine upon starting, allowing the management system to know when to inject the fuel. It is also commonly used as the primary source for the measurement of engine speed and revolutions per minute. The sensor is the most important sensor in modern-day engines. When it fails, there is a chance the engine will not start or cut out while running. So basically all that is just saying that without this won't work. So hopefully you got that. So the first thing you'll need to do this testing diagnosis is a good multimeter. And the second thing you'll need is to know where it's at. So let me show you. Tried to paint it red here. Let me see if I can get in there. I'll put a little mark on it there. It's right down there on the top of the bell housing. I don't know if you can see that, but that's it right there. It's really hard to get to, and you can see it from here. You can get to the wires from here, but to get it out, you'll be crawling up underneath it. And the wires come up right behind your intake manifold here, and they connect into this connection here. There's two different types of sensors. There's the pre-90 sensors and the post-90 sensors. We'll go over that here in a sec. Alright, so the first thing you'll want to do is make sure you've got good battery power. Just test your battery, make sure that you've got some juice there, and I do. Alright, after the battery, you'll want to make sure that you don't have a spark. If you do have a spark, then you'll know that the CPS sensor is working. And to check for that, you'll just take off one of your spark plug wires here and hold it up to the engine. Have somebody crank it. If you see a spark between that and the block here, you'll know that you've got spark and your sensor is working. If you don't see a spark, you'll know that the sensor probably could be bad, and we'll do some more checks. No spark, so let's do a couple more checks. Alright, the second thing you'll need to look at is the connection here to see whether you've got the older or the newer. The newer model Cherokees 91 to 2001 have a different setup. This is the older setup. Before 91 there's just two prongs. So you just look in here, see if you've got two prongs or three prongs. And there's two different ways to test each setup. So we'll go over the 91 to 2001 first. And this is what your harness is going to look like if you're 91 to 2001. And it's got three different prongs in there. So it's a little bit different procedure, but pretty much the same. So let's check it out. Alright, for this test for the 91 to 2001 harness, what we're looking for is to see that there's resistance. I don't actually have this sensor, so I've got it disconnected, but just let's pretend that it's in there. And you're going to disconnect it. This is the lead that goes to the actual sensor, and you're going to set your device here up to read resistance. Now, if you touch these two leads together, it should beep at you or go down to zero resistance, meaning that there's no resistance between the two wires and you've got a short. What we're looking for is infinite resistance, meaning that these two wires aren't shorted out. And you're going to test leads B and C. This is looking from the top down. This is the top here with this little nib on it there. And you've got A, B, and C, and we're going to test circuit B to C. And we get no reading, which means that there's infinite resistance. If it were to do that, you'd know it was bad, and you'd go ahead and replace it. There's also another test you can do with these 91 to 01 sensors. And what you want to do is just plug this back in, and you're going to probe the wires. One, you're going to want to find a ground. One, you're going to want to find power when the ignition switch is on. And one, you're going to want to find current whenever you turn the Jeep over. So if you want to check for that, go ahead. If that's too complex for you, just go ahead and replace it if you think it's faulty. Alright, now we're going to look at the testing procedure for the 87 to 90 engines. These are the 4.0 engines, of course. And this lead coming from the CPS sensor has two connections. And once again, you're going to set your ohm meter to measure ohms. And what you want to find is something between 125 and 275. And right there we've got 204. So we know that this is possibly good. For the 87 to 90 engine, there's two checks though, so we're going to do one more just to make sure here. Alright, so the second test for the 87 to 90 engines is to check to make sure that your sensor is creating a voltage. And to do that, I'm just going to do like I did before with the A and B here. And I've got my meter set up to check for alternating current voltage, and that's what you want. Obviously my meter is wrong because it's reading 0.2 when it should be reading 0. But all I'm going to do now is turn it over and see if that spikes, and if it does, then we'll know that this crankshaft position sensor is good. And you can see there that it did spike. If you've got a better voltmeter than mine, what you're looking for is between a 0.5 and 1 volt alternating current. If it's anything out of that, then go ahead and replace it. This one looks good, but let me show you what to do if yours is bad. Alright, so thankfully I don't have to replace my sensor, but if you do, it's pretty much impossible to get your hand and a wrench down here to get it out. It's right on top of the bell housing, on top of the transmission there. So what you want to do is build one of these. This is about 2.5 or 2.5 feet worth of extensions here. And so you want to grab up all the extensions you have in your garage basically. And I believe it's 11 millimeter. And you'll want to put a swivel on the end there. And you're just going to crawl up under the engine, or under the Jeep, and put this way up in there, and use your hand to kind of feel around and get it up on there and take it off. Make sure though when you pull the bolt out that you don't let it drop down into the bell housing, because that'd be really bad. So alright guys, well thanks for watching. I hope you learned something today, and if you get bored, please check out my website BleepinJeep.com. It's got all the best off-road videos on YouTube, and please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel right here, BleepinJeep. I appreciate it. Have a good day.